Wait, start again? Go.
Now we're up to that $28 trillion, and these banks that have taken these bailouts from the Federal Reserve, which has come directly from the American taxpayers, is now sitting in the hands of these banksters who are taking the money that they were given and lending it back to the people who gave it to them in the first place at interest. Not only do they have to pay back the loan and the interest that they've taken out from the bank, but the overall $28 trillion plus will have to be paid back as well. So this is the scheme, and this is how they do it. They come into a democracy where people have individual wealth. They essentially abscond with the individual's wealth by devaluing the currency, playing with the stock market, and essentially just tricking people into investing into certain mutual funds and money markets and so forth that they know will be collapsed. And they steal all the money from the individuals, bring about some socialist country, socialist government, fascist government, and they then create dependency with these people who were once independent. It'll take before we see, the effects of that here in Canada. But the World Bank came out with a press release last week calling for a one world currency, saying that they are going to replace the U.S. dollar as the international monetary currency and introducing their currency, which corporations, say for example like Federal Express, have been using to charge their customers. They've been using this World Bank currency, converting, whether it's American or Canadian or whatever, they convert it into this World Bank currency. So corporations have already been using it, and it won't be long before everyone is on this one World Bank currency. And then from there, the idea is to essentially eliminate paper currency, going into an electronic currency, which of course, we've all heard by now, will be controlled with an RFID chip, which is a microchip that will be implanted into the human, whether it's their hand or their arm or wherever it is. And this RFID chip is a transmitter as well as a receiver. And it can transmit your information, your data, once it's scanned, and of course anyone can read that. But it also receives transmissions. Now, this isn't something that they tell us about or talk about, which is pretty scary, because these radio signals from an external source can be sent right to your RFID chip, and whether, say, they can make you feel depressed, they can make you feel angry, they can make you sick by simply transmitting a frequency to your RFID chip. And this is the plan of a one world government to take over the people. First by individual currencies in the countries, collapsing them. Then this is the problem. The reaction is we will come about with a currency to replace the United States dollar, which they've devalued systematically, give everybody this one world currency, and then once everyone is on the one world currency.
And how will that affect our day-to-day life?
Well, it'll affect people differently, depending on what you do and how you do it. But for a lot of people, it will come down to what this new world currency will be valued at compared to the currency that you're using. So if the Canadian currency is replaced with this World Bank currency, it could be that once everything is all calculated and balanced out, that this new currency, and I've heard this is with the US dollar, which is maybe 8-9 cents more on the dollar than the Canadian dollar is right now, so it's not a big difference. But I've heard anywhere as low as 1 to 6 in terms of the ratio, but could be as low as was 1 to 12, meaning for every $6 that you've got now in Canadian currency, you would have $1 of the world bank currency. And it could be as bad as for every $12 Canadian that you own or that you have, you'll only be left with $1 of the world bank. Could very well be, artificially inflated, because a lot of the stuff that we hear about the one world government and the currency and the vaccinations and on and on and on, we hear from fearmongers or people whose job it is to create fear among the people so that there is a reaction. A lot of the times, if the circus is coming to town and no one knows that it's coming to town, no one will go. No one will end up showing. Maybe a few people who happen to be walking by will go, oh, hey, the circus is here. But you have to promote the circus coming to town. You have to send out the posters, and you take out ads on the radio station and so forth. You have to let the people know what's coming to town so they're ready to go to the event. And that program's designed to inform the sheeple, the mass public, that they are slaves and that there is about to be a revolution. Whether they want it or not, it's coming, and they need to prepare the people so they show up for it. This is what they need in order to invoke their martial law. In order to bring in the military troops and so forth, they have to have a good reason, and the good reason will be the informed people rallying against what's coming.